Hello, and welcome to class again. Today I'm going to be giving a short discussion on poverty. Poverty is defined in a couple of ways. In Europe, they define it as percent of basically average income. That means there will always be people in poverty, but usually what that means also is that poverty level is higher, therefore there's a considered more sensitivity to those people. United States, we just kind of base it upon a certain figure, not really based on anything other than maybe what it costs to buy food and then multiply it by that. So we have fewer people technically classified in poverty relative to what it would be otherwise. And probably not as useful. Either way, poverty is devastating for people. It's a difficult issue because you're looking around and everybody else is doing better, or not everybody. You may be in an area where everybody's doing poorly, but it most certainly is very difficult. Who are the people who are in poverty? Well, most are white because most people in America are white. But if you're talking about percentages, American Indians are the highest, followed closely by Blacks and Hispanics. Of course, when you're talking about huge issues like COVID-19, for that reason, those same populations are also negatively affected disproportionately by this disease pandemic. The highest population of people in poverty, though, is actually children of single-parent families. We're raising a large number of our children in poverty. This is, of course, an impediment to their development. It means they live in areas where the schools have less money and less resources. Parents may have to be working and not at home. I mean, I grew up in a situation where I had a parent who was always available. Many of these children do not. It's an unfair comparison. Chronically unemployed, variety of different reasons. Some may be disabled. A lot of veterans, because of mental conditions from Vietnam, live in poverty. Many of the homeless are veterans. One of the real issues, though, with poverty is how long do you stay in poverty? And what's the probability that you can get out of it? Almost all of us have lived in poverty at some time, the classical definition of poverty. I'm sure that many of my class do now, and I did when I was in college. I mean, you had to pinch every penny. After all, you have school expenses and all. I often had a decent job, but when you didn't, you were just pretty low income. And I'm sure that many of you are in that same situation. But the expectation I had, and the expectation I hope that most of you have, is that it's temporary. And if it looks that way, then it's not so bad. But on the other hand, if you are a teenage woman with a child, the probability of being in poverty for a long period of time is much, much greater, and probably vastly, vastly more depressing. The United States does a very poor job in terms of helping people get out of poverty. We have low social mobility. These are some older figures from an economist named Stephen Slavin, but I think they are still valid. And what they are is the percent of people in a country who leave poverty within a single year. Now, the best of the countries in Europe with Netherlands, 44%. That's almost 1 in 2. Now, most of the other countries weren't as good. Sweden was only 37. France was 28. Germany was only 26. That's only 1 in 4. And Ireland was 25, which that's just really is 1 in 4. But in comparison, they look good compared to the United States. If in the United States, if you are white, only 17%, only 17% left. And the figures, if you're a person of color, were much worse. For Latinos, about 9%, and for Blacks, about 8%. We do have low social mobility. We do put people in poverty for a long period of time. If we really want to progress as a nation, we want to use all of our resources. If we really want to act in terms of a moral basis, we don't want to leave people in undesirable circumstances. Now, that's a normative argument. That's my position. And I can't prove that it's better that people live better lives. Hey, but I have that position anyway. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Bye.